Hello world and welcome to the next video. At the first presidential debate, President Trump and Joe Biden discussed election integrity and voting. Let's watch.
As far as the ballots are concerned, it's a disaster. A solicited ballot, okay, solicited is okay. You're soliciting, you're asking, they send it back, you send it back. I did that. If you have an unsolicited, they're sending millions of ballots all over the country. There's fraud. They found them in creeks. They found some with the name Trump, just happened to have the name Trump just the other day in a waste paper basket. They're being sent all over the place. They sent 2 in a Democrat area. They sent out 1,000 ballots. Everybody got 2 ballots. This is going to be a fraud like you've never seen. The other thing, it's nice on November 3rd, you're watching and you see who won the election. And I think we're going to do well because people are really happy with the job we've done. But you know what? We won't know. We might not know for months because these ballots are going to be all over. Take a look at what happened in Manhattan. Take a look at what happened in New Jersey. Take a look at what happened in Virginia and other places. They're not losing 2%, 1%, which, by the way, is too much. An election could be won or lost with that. They're losing 30 and 40%. It's a fraud.
Mixed in there is a bunch of lies. They're not losing 30% of the ballots. When there's a case where there is a ballot problem or someone is tampering with them, those people get fired. That's what happened when there was a problem with the 9 military Trump ballots, or they said 6 or 7 of the votes were Trump on those ballots. Somebody had thrown them out. That person was fired. When those things happen, they are dealt with and gotten rid of. President Trump said ballots are being dumped into creeks. That is coming from nowhere. That's completely made up. They're not losing 30% of the ballots. They're not sending multiple ballots to the same people. People are not getting 2 ballots. You solicit your ballot with your name, and then a ballot with your name is sent to your address. When you register to vote, in some states, they will send you your ballot automatically. If you're not registered, they don't send you a ballot. It's not going to take months to determine the winner of the election. It may take a few extra days, at the most, weeks. That's because we are in the middle of a pandemic. Votes will take longer to count because some rules allow for a ballot to be postmarked on election day. By the time it arrives, it may arrive a few days later. They give a few days buffer, and at that time, the ballot would be counted. Other ballots that are received in advance, it's not allowed. The system does not let them count the ballots when they first arrive. They must wait until election day. So each state has different rules about when they can start counting ballots. If they could count ballots as they arrive, it wouldn't be as big of a problem. But there are certain regulations where you can't open up the ballot at the station to do the counting until a certain date. So ballots are not being dumped into creeks. When election fraud or ballot fraud happens, those people are fired. It will not take months to determine the winner of the election. As usual, President Trump is spitballing and just making up things. If there's an irregularity that you're aware of, you've had 4 years. Why have they not been dealt with? You want the ballots to not be counted correctly? As a matter of fact, if someone fills out a ballot at home and they misspell their name or something, or do not sign correctly, there are a few instances where those ballots could still be counted. Otherwise, they are thrown out. If you don't sign your ballot, it's thrown out, it's not counted. In some cases, you can testify and say, this is me, I voted for Trump, or I voted for Biden, and then they would count your ballot after the correction takes place. But you'd have to show up in person somewhere and deal with that if there was a problem with your ballot. Otherwise, the ballot's not filled out correctly, you filled out 2 names or something, in that case, they would not count it. So if someone's making a mistake on their ballot, it's excluded, which makes sense. But these made-up cases of voter fraud are just nonsensical. If you like my coverage, please do like, comment, subscribe.